'Tis 3 drinks down. My name, Nate.
My nameth, Jameis.
And today, we have for you a review of the Midwinter Nights Dram. Act 10, Scene 4. And the Encore.
Do you want more?
I don't know what that was, but I like it.
Today on 3 Drinks Down, we bring you a Midwinter Nights Dram and brand new to the lineup, the Encore. So this particular bottling of Midwinter Nights Dram is Scene 10, which is the 10th year that they're doing it, and Act number 4. So what we've learned is that every scene is actually just a different bottling number.
From that particular season.
Correct, yeah. So if it's the same act, it's from the same year, but a different scene is also from the same year, if that makes sense. So like, you know, Act 9 is last year's and Act 10 is this year's, but you could have scene 1, 2, 3, or 4, and they're all going to be from the same juice.
They went to 5 this year.
So yeah, you could have even 5, and they're all from the same juice. They're just bottled on different days or periods of time. But in theory, it's all the same liquid, right?
Shouldn't be very much variance, although from day to day, you never know, right? Who knows? Maybe something crazy happened in the tank. We hope not, but we don't care. We only have 10, Scene 4.
Yeah, so that's what we're gonna review.
And the Encore.
And the Encore, of course.
Yep.
So these are a blend of straight rye whiskeys. As far as we know, it is their 80-20 rye, as well as MGP's 95-5. And the ratio is no idea. It's then finished in port barrels. Now, the difference is the Encore is actually finished in white port barrels, and it's 50.3% alcohol versus a 49.3%. So they either chose to dilute it less, or you know, some of those barrels are just higher proof. I don't know. Who knows?
Do you know what really makes a difference?
What?
When you hit the like button,
comment,
and subscribe. That's what really makes a difference for us.
That's true.
But what you're saying is there's a difference in the whiskey. That's what we're here for. So sorry guys, had to jump in there, you know. So full disclosure, we did fresh crack these bottles. They've been sitting open in the Glens for about 20 minutes at this point. So you may see one of those crazy graphics. We'll be right back later. We may have to give it some more time. We don't know. But guess what? I'm ready to get into the nose.
Hey, let's get into the nosening.
We're gonna go into Act 10 first.
Yes, Midwinter Nights Dram.
Act 10.
Swirl.
I just rookie mistake that.
Swirl, yep. You're a rookie. Swirl.
Now, one thing I learned last night, actually, when I was doing a guest appearance on another podcast, Whiskey Straight Up,
Shut up.
was that some distillers actually prefer you not to swirl before you take your first sensory experience, and then they're okay with it.
Why is that?
They just want you to take that in so you can compare the A and B, essentially.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so I prefer to SJ, but that's just me.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the swirl job.
So I'm gonna continue to SJ.
Honestly, it's mostly just like a normal act for us now, I think. You know, like
It is. It's kind of a shtick too, so
yeah. But everybody swirls.
Guess where I'm going. Oh wow.
It smells a little hotter than 49.3 right off the rip for me. But again, it could just be still off-gassing in these Glens. I'm not sure.
It's a rye.
That's true.
You know, we typically haven't done a ton of ryes on the channel so far. So for us to kind of jump into a rye and be like, oh, it smells a little hot. Well, okay, come on, guys. If it's not minty, it's gonna be spicy.
It's definitely a spicy.
It's kind of a weird earthiness to it.
Yeah.
Weird, not weird bad, weird interesting.
I get port, but it's definitely overshadowed by the spice of the rye.
I think it's gonna have to open up.
Yeah.
The finished stuff is probably gonna have to open up, and that's okay. But we'll keep sniffing on. Keep sniffing on.
It is harsh, guys, on the nose. Initially, like it stings the nostrils. And again, I get that it's a rye, but 49.3 proof is it's pretty low. It's pretty low. So, I don't know.
You know, I get where you're going with that. It's definitely got a funk to it. I don't want to mistake that for harshness 100%.
It's a minerality, to quote a guy I know.
Yeah, but it's unique, and I don't hate it.
I just can't get past how proofy it is right now, how much ethanol I'm getting.
Let's let that off gas for a second. We'll pick up the Encore. What do you think?
Yeah, let's go to the Encore, see how this is like. So obviously a little bit higher proof. So let's see if it's as proofy. It's pretty similar to me off that big ethanol rip.
There's a little more floral.
Yes.
I'm not going rosewater though. You can't convince me otherwise.
Definitely not. I'm not even gonna try. I'm so glad it's not rosewater.
Wow. Okay.
A little bit more sweetness, just a tad.
I think they're both fairly subdued, actually. So I know what you're saying about the first one, where what rye spice you do get is really pops.
It's prevalent.
But neither one is one where you take it in the nostril and you go, oh, I just cleared my sinuses. To me.
The first one was for me.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's just it. My glass is just off-gassing a little bit.
I apologize on behalf of good folks there. No, I didn't mean to do that to you. Promise you.
I think they did.
I don't think
it was intentional.
Okay. This guy's opening a little bit. So, or gal, we don't know. We shouldn't be that way.
I definitely get like a little citrusy pop too in the back end of that. But I think the floral spicy thing is kind of spot on there.
Oh, your comment about them being very similar? Oh my.
No, once you actually AB?
Oh, yes. Oh my.
All right, the ethanol's not as bad now. I do think that it was still just kind of off-gassing.
Could be.
The thing about the Glens, man, is they keep so much of that in.
And even if you go to the top.
That tapered part of the glass, so it's just tough.
Even if you go to the top of the glasses.
Right.
Oh no. There's a distinct difference. And the first one is definitely not as spicy to me. Are you doing both?
That's what you're supposed to do, right?
Try it too then.
Oh, well, that's a sensory experience.
That sounds like Vader. Definite similarities on the nose, but I don't want to beat this up anymore. I think I'm going to sit for a minute or two, come back to him.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
Moments later.
All right, we're back. And let's just get right into this. Hopefully this got a little bit better.
Oh, number one. Calmed the F down.
Oh, thank God.
A lot.
Thank God. So ethanol is gone. So we can actually get into this. So I'm going to do that.
Set number two down just because. Number two.
So definitely get like a minerality. Definitely like newer, like.
There is, so I do get an essence of a port there. I get that kind of, not papery old port, but I get that kind of the idea.
A little bit like oxidized old wine, basically. I get a little bit of French oak as well.
Oh, good call. I was wondering what that little plume of sweetness, because it wasn't like.
I think it's French oak. Yeah, the wood from the.
You know we love French oak.
Man, yeah. But overall, way more enjoyable. The spiciness level is actually not that big. So I think what I was all getting was pretty much just ethanol off-gassing. You know, these are fresh crack bottles.
You're off-gassing.
Not currently. Whoa. Enjoyable. A little hint of citrus. If you really dig in, you get that port for sure. If I had to guess, probably not super old port.
Oh, give you a second. I won't make any comments. I don't know why I'm whispering.
Man, okay. So to me, this is a lot more oak than the first one.
It's a lot more orange now, too.
Yeah, that pop of citrus is
now a bouquet.
Kind of a big thing. It's still kind of in tandem with that florality.
But it's come out. It's emerged.
Florality?
Yes.
Florality?
Are you trying to say something about Florida? Is that what you're trying to do?
Florality?
Florality? You're going to...
I gotta be honest here. I think I like the nose on Midwinter's better. I think it's
on
just
the Act 10 or season 10.
Season 10 of Survivor. Yeah,
Lord, they're on season 90 of that show.
I think so. About season 90. Which one do you like better?
I'm gonna go with no. I'm more of the Encore on the nose.
Do you want more?
Of course.
Okay.
Hello.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right. You want to just get directly into the mouth-ending, as they call it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, great.
Uh-huh.
Starting with Midwinter Nights Dram. Holy minerality, Batman. It's so minerally.
But it's enjoyable.
There's definitely the finish is all port to me.
Mm-hmm.
All port.
That's what's so enjoyable. I don't mind that I get this wash of minerals over the front half of my palate, because the end is worth it. I'm digging the end of that.
It's definitely better than I expected coming off the nose. Sweetness on like the sides of the tongue. An okay hug. Okay.
For being whatever they've done to get this down to the proof, it washes over your entire palate very nicely.
It does. I would give it that. But there's almost like this tannic dryness as well from that French oak.
Yeah, I can't really say that actually.
Yeah. But nice, enjoyable. I like port, so I'm not mad at it.
I like port.
I like port. All right. A little rinse, mouth.
Rinse.
As they say.
I want to take a little sniff of that first. Oh, you done messed up taking a rinse.
Well, it is what it is now.
Oh.
Can't go back. Can't go back, folks.
Who says?
Okay. All right. It's coming around.
Oh, that is way more interesting on the front half of the palate.
I like this far less.
I need a second sip of that. I'm struggling with it because I am getting some of the fruitiness on the front still, which is weird to me.
It's just way more tannic to me. And like
Give me that.
A little hotter, that spice comes through in the back end and kind of lingers in a not so good way for me. Yeah, I like currently from the first 2 sips I've had of each, one of each, I like Midwinter Nights Dram a little bit more.
I'm on the fulcrum right now. I'm not sure. Everything I dug about the first one is not present in the second one. But what I am getting out of that second one is, as I took a second small sip, I'm getting just kind of the more experience of like that kind of sweeter, kind of the less oxidized, which I thought it would potentially be more.
The, like what's left over, like the super long finish.
Almost just like that pure sugar candy left over.
I was going to say sweet tarts.
Yeah, sweet tart sugar candy.
Yeah.
And that's enjoyable for me because it's not expected.
It's definitely not expected. It's weird because it like goes from tannic to this like perceived chalky candy thing, which is just like, those two don't make sense to me. But like all the cool fruit stuff from the port is not as prevalent in this one.
Where they really both lack is a long finish. To me, they're a mediumist finish, and the second one has a slightly longer finish, but it's sweet on the back of the palate, so you kind of would expect that.
Right. And
I don't get a hug from either.
Initially, but not a ton. And then the mouthfeel is like, it's fine. It's probably pretty young stuff. Not young, but not super.
Well, I like the mouthfeel slightly better on the Midwinter Nights than the Encore. So
yeah, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna do a little quick A/B to kind of wrap up the tasting here notes, because I think we're both in a weird spot with both of them. I think James might have a little stronger opinion right now, but I'm kind of in the middle still. I don't know. So
yeah, I'm gonna start with Midwinters again. Oh my God, the nose, holy. Whoa, where did that come from? It was like everything I was missing about this before.
This is why we A/B. We go back and forth.
Oh my goodness, this smells great. The port is singing. The port is just shining, everybody. Just shining.
Are you the Port Authority?
Okay, taste is a lot of the same for me.
There is something funky and different about the Encore. And I don't want to love it because it's the Encore. But I love it because it's just got just a different complexity.
Why does the like, after it finishes and there's no hug, and you think it's there's basically no finish, there's like this thing that's left on your tongue that is like, it's like bubblegum and sweet tarts, like sweet tart bubblegum. It's so weird.
Yeah, no, I can't explain it. But I think that's unique. I've not really experienced that type of phenomena often. I've definitely never experienced it with that unique flavor profile.
Same, yeah. It's got to be obviously the port.
So the left.
Good one. That's really good. It's 2. That's 2.
Oh, wow. Okay, so honestly, like I'm leaned over the table, so you were kind of like,
yeah.
All right,
I'm just like,
here?
just super perplexed.
You know, at first I was sitting here wondering, without giving it away, I was sitting here wondering, are we both going to say these are just, okay?
Yeah.
I'm really starting to appreciate what they are for what they are. I'm not foreshadowing that it's going to be a miraculous turnaround, but honestly, they're both so unique. I see why they warranted having 2 bottlings. They got this unique barrel and they had this,
Yeah, I'm glad that they did them separately. I don't know that they would have done well.
No,
together.
I don't mean to intend they should have blended them, but I'm just saying I'm glad they saw the foresight to be like, hey, we've got something very uniquely different than what the rest of the line is kind of doing.
The Encore is throwing me for a loop the most because it's got this weird balance between like pretty big sweetness, especially in the mid palate, but there's like tannins throughout. So it's just like really conflicting. It's like, what is happening?
Well, it pulls you back in slightly to the wine world a bit more.
For sure, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, honestly, that's what was the interesting part to me is I rarely get, and I've only had a handful of them, so I don't pretend to be an expert. I rarely get a wine-finished bourbon or whiskey or whatever that pulls me back that far. Sometimes things taste like you had a wet barrel or something, but never where it's like, all right, I get the essence of this spirit without getting destroyed by what I perceive this spirit might have been had I tasted it out of that barrel first use.
I'm gonna reserve some stuff, but I have opinions. I have thoughts.
thoughts?
Questions, comments, concerns.
Well, you've done this kind of barrel aging stuff and stuff, so I want to hear about that and stuff.
And things.
And things.
Okay. Sweethearts again. I don't know. So let's start with Midwinter Nights Dram. Is this a purchase, pour, or a pass?
I'm going to say this. I just caveated a second ago. I'm going to tell you this, for me, is definitely a pour. And it's solidly a pour, and for this reason alone. If you're not familiar with the line, you're going to need to understand if you want to ingratiate yourself to it more. It's not a pass because I think it's a good to great rye, honestly, for finished rye. Where do you feel? I'm
very much in the same boat. I think it's interesting enough and unique enough that it's a pour. As it stands, and again, it could change over time, owning a bottle, oxidization helping out. I certainly enjoyed the one that I had for the Hurricane Ian live. I thought that was way more jammy. I really enjoyed the port aspect that I had in that one. To me, I'm just not digging what the port's doing here in these. And I'm a lover of port, but I like sweet, jammy, big port, the citrus kind of more tannic stuff is not really my jam. So kind of understand why I don't appreciate these as much as maybe someone else would. But either way, they're both very unique, enough to probably warrant a pour. And who knows, you might really enjoy them, especially because they are different. If you like finished stuff, especially if you like port or if you like wine and tannins, like definitely seek it out. So
can I throw a slight curveball at the end of this one? You ready? So these are derivatives of their Rendezvous rye.
Correct,
you can buy on the shelf.
Yeah.
What I would tell you is, before I would jump in here, if you're not sure, Rendezvous rye is a buy to know if you even want to come down this pathway.
At the very least, it's going to give you a starting point as to what High West is all about and what the base of this is all about.
And from there, it's just whether you like wine finishes or you think you might, honestly.
Yeah.
So give you a little bonus there. We usually don't go that route, but honestly, I think a lot of people, honestly, as long as it's been around, I don't know a lot of people have experienced this product. We probably have viewers that have, and they're like, okay, Nate and James, whatever. But we probably have viewers that haven't. So I just want to give you a little extra there. So
yeah, absolutely.
Now, curtains down. House lights have come up a little to trick everyone, right?
Right.
Slightly. And then, down from the pit, you hear some sort of noise. Some music of some sort coming out.
I'm envisioning.
Yeah, there's some sort of music.
I think it's the Encore.
I do, and the center spotlight comes. And it says, James.
Yeah.
On the Encore, are you a purchase, pour, or pass?
It's the same thing. It's a pour. It's gonna be basically impossible to get a pour though, because it was distillery only. So good luck with that, I guess. I guess you could try and buy a sample or find someone who has bottles and a friend, and pour from them. But again, it's the same thing. It's unique enough. It's very similar with some differences, obviously, as everything we've pointed out. But not super stoked to own either.
I'm with you with one caveat. If you happen to be a white port freak, I'm imagining this is a purchase all day for you. Honestly. If you're not, I'm with James. Find a friend that got a hold of a bottle. Go in with a group, buy a bottle and split it. So you're going to be a pour, technically. Don't pass on this, though. It's a unique experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you heard some negative notes potentially on us throughout this whole thing. I'm not trying to dress up a pig here. I'm just being 100% honest with you guys to tell you that this was unique enough that I'm glad we had this bottle and we can revisit it.
Yeah, some finishing stuff is really cool. And sometimes it'll just hit you perfectly, Everyone's different.
And finished whiskeys sometimes take longer to air out in the bottle. So we'll see how that goes. So to kind of come back around all this for you guys, if you happen to just jumped out to however long this video is, I think what we're both saying is seek out a pour of this if you can. Because honestly, I don't know if this is one that we're comfortable telling you to buy or not buy, but don't pass it up is what we're trying to say. Give it a shot if you can get a pour of it.
We are 3 drinks down, and this has been a review for you. Huzzah!
Juliet is the sun!